Okay, we're gonna put that center zipper in now. This is the back seam running down the back of my skirt. As you can see, I've already closed part of it shut earlier in my directions, and I back stitched that in place. So the remainder was open. I've pinned it into place because I'm gonna close this shut with a stay stitch. Remember that stay stitch is our widest stitch setting on our machine. I'm not gonna back tack. Okay. I'm not gonna run over pins again. I've matched up these seams. It's important for the seams to be precise, right? Because when we sew our zipper in and it opens up on this seam, we want those seams to match. So I'm gonna get way up to it before I pull out that zipper, that pin. And I'm not gonna back stitch. And pull that out. Okay, and there is my staged stitch. I'm gonna leave these tails in. I'm gonna finger press that open. Of course, if you have an iron, you can press that open. So with this zipper, this is a 7-inch zipper. That is because it measures from 7 inches from where the slider stops down to this metal tab, which stops the slider from opening any further. Okay, so these in the center of the zipper are known as the teeth of the zipper. This is the slider. This is the zipper tape. Okay, so I'm putting the top of the zipper, I'm lining up the top with the top of my waistband, and I'm going to pin this in place. Now, I'm rolling the zipper back and I'm lining it right up with that seam. And about every maybe inch or so, I'm going to put a pin in it. Okay, then I'm going to flip it back and roll the teeth right down the center of that seam, go down about an inch, and pin it in place. Now I've got the other half of my skirt underneath it, so I have to make sure that my hand is underneath and I'm not pinning the zipper all the way through. Again, running the teeth directly down the center of the zipper, about an inch down, pinning it into place. All the way to the very end. Okay. Now I'm going to hand baste this zipper in. Okay, so I have my zipper all pinned in. I'm gonna start I'm gonna hand baste it in. So I have a needle and a thread. There's a knot at the other end. I don't need too small of stitches. I don't need. Making sure I'm just going through the layer that I need. Got a lot of thread going on here, but we're going to clean that up soon. Leaving those pins in, and I'm basting along the very edge of the zipper so that it doesn't get in the way of my machine stitches. Come back up through the skirt. So again, I like to hand sew. I like to hold the fabric with my hand here and sew with my right hand. And then my fingers, right, there's my finger, excuse me, can feel you know, not the edge of the needle, but the back side of the fabric to make sure nothing is getting in the way or I'm sewing through a layer I shouldn't be. And I'm going to go all the way down to the end of the zipper tape, beyond that metal stopper. Still leaving my pins in, being a little more cautious when I grab the fabric here because there's a lot of pins, right, with the exposed edges. Okay, so I'm hand basting the zipper in because what I want to do is I want to take these pins out so I can sew the zipper into place on the machine. And when I do so, I will be sewing from the top of the skirt, the right side of the skirt. Okay, I'm just going to throw a little knot in it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just don't want it to slip out. Okay. Now I'm going to take these pins out. And I have hand basted my zipper in place, running down the center of my skirt. Okay, let's sew. Let's see, my machine has a zipper foot. Okay. If you don't have a zipper foot, you could use your regular foot. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to start below that zipper head. Okay. And I'm going to go. I'm not going to backstitch, and I'll show you a little bit later why. The teeth of the zipper are right here. I can feel them with my finger, and that's what the edge of this zipper foot is going to be running along. So I'm just going to start. Okay, got some extra thread hanging out. I can still feel that zipper teeth underneath this seam. It's kind of acting like a guide for my zipper foot. Now I don't need to go all the way down to where I put this base stitch. Remember, I put it all the way at the end of the zipper tape. I can feel that that metal stopper is right here, so I'm just going to go a couple stitches past it, maybe even turn the wheel with my hand, enough that I know that the zipper foot can clear it. I'm going to leave the needle in the fabric. I'm going to pick up the presser foot and I'm going to pivot, and now I'm going to sew across. And I'm going to put a couple, turn the hand wheel a little bit until I know I've cleared, again, that zipper edge. And now I'm going to go back up the other side. So you can see where my base stitches are and where I'm sewing, they don't interfere with one another. Okay, I'm coming up to the zipper pull again. It's right here. So I'm just going to finish off about opposite of where I started. I'm not going to backstitch. And again, I'll show you guys why. You're going to see various like if you look up other methods on YouTube, you'll see various methods. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up that stay stitch that I put to close that seam shut. So I'm going to come down here. Okay, I'm leaving the basting stitch in, And remember that stay stitch did not have a back stitch, so it should come out pretty easily, right? I'm gonna come up here just a little bit below my zipper head. Okay. I'm gonna open these stitches up. And, oh, I should have, okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push, right? I'm gonna push that zipper open. Right, my zipper pull should have been down when I sewn. I'm gonna open all this up, try to grab, sometimes I can grab a thread and just pull it all out. This is not a part to rush because we don't want to put any holes in our fabric during this process. What you can do is kind of rip open every inch or so, and that's when you can grab a thread and pull it out. Okay, that's probably good enough for now because the whole point is for me to open this zipper up, to get the zipper pull out of the way of this top part so I can go back and finish sewing. Now remember when we didn't back stitch here? It's so we can start maybe 3 stitches in and put a back stitch in and keep going. That back stitch will lock this original stitch. A lot of times it's recommended to back stitch, go all the way around and back stitch, and then start again and back stitch. But you get this lump, these big lumps of thread right here. So that is why I like to just finish and then start over with my back stitch. So I'm going to make sure this thread is in the back. I'm going to do my best to line that right back up. I could even, right, I could even start with my presser foot up and hand turning that wheel to get the needle, to get that needle right in where I left off. And now I'm going to sew, back stitch, and back stitch again. Okay, finish out that zipper. And I'm going to do the same to the other side. So we've still got a lot of thread going on here, but I really don't want to pull any of my stay stitches out, any of my basting out until the zipper is completely sewn in. So I just got to be careful with those threads, push them to the side. Okay. Starting at the top with that back stitch. Got a little bit of a lump in here. There we go. I'm going to trim this thread off. And that's where I first started. I'm going to go 3 or 4 stitches over that and back stitch. So let's trim away what we have here. These were my back stitches. I'm going to trim that away. Okay. These were that original stay stitch that I put in, so I should be able to just yank at them gently. Yank is probably not the best word. And they'll come right out, okay? I'm going to finish ripping out the rest of my original stay stitch. Again, that stitch that we used to close that seam, we are opening. Okay, now can open that entire zipper, clean out the threads, but now I'm going to take out that hand base stitch. This one's going to be much easier to take out. I can even cut down here. Should be able to just pull that right out. I'm going to pull out around this curve here. I've got a knot here, so I'm going to cut that off. And now I can pull this one out. Okay? That is your centered zipper. All right, if I'm wearing this, this is the center back. Did a pretty good job of lining my seams up here. Okay, all right.